YouTube, welcome back to another live stream. This is definitely more of a promotional live stream for one of my recent videos, but we'll wait for a couple people to get in here before we really do the promoting. But hope everyone's having a good Monday evening, a good Monday night. And yeah. Excuse me. The truth behind Abrego Garcia. So that's what we're talking about today. And we're talking about Trump's wrongin'. We're talking about Abrego Garcia's wrongin'. Believe it or not, it's all in my recent video. All in my recent video about Abrego Garcia. Never seen before information for 90% of you guys about Abrego Garcia's case. So definitely go read that, go check it out. I just posted it probably 5 or 10 minutes ago. And yeah, it's never seen, never heard before information about Abrego Garcia, you know? You know, Ming, you know? Happy May 5th. It is already midnight here. So that's that. Let's see if we can wait for a little bit of people to get in here. And then we'll start talking about it more. But all the information about Abrego Garcia's deportation is on the recent newest video. And Nick Fuentes is a neo-Nazi. Hey, Patriot Dad, thank you for joining, man. Long time no see. I definitely would appreciate if you could go check out my recent video that I just posted. I'm kind of on a promotional stream right now, but it's explaining all of Abrego Garcia's recent arrest and deportation. I linked the immigration statute, so if you want to argue with any of your liberal family members or friends and prove them wrong, I put the statute right there in there for you. So it's a great argument. So I need everyone to go check out that video. My regular videos haven't been doing too well, but the support in the live streams are unbelievable. I really appreciate that. So if everyone can go check out the whole Abrego Garcia breakdown, and I linked the immigration statute. I put it on screen. I showed you exactly what the full situation was. I tried not to be biased about it. I don't think Trump himself made the mistake. But, you know, he was never supposed to be found. You never have to be found guilty of a crime or anything like that to get deported. It's simply just not true. But you'll see the full breakdown in the video. But I hope your Cinco de Mayo is going good. Hey, thank you, Patriot. I'm still learning a lot myself. Hey, Mike Hawk, welcome back. Welcome back. Much appreciated. Like and subscribe. Definitely go check out my recent video about Abrego Garcia. I need everyone to go comment on there because, you know, the regular videos haven't been doing well. I appreciate the live stream support a lot because you guys have been supporting a lot on the live streams. That really means the world to me. But definitely go check that video out. It's really, if I got anything wrong or if there's anything I should make a part 2 maybe about it. The one thing I kind of wanted to mention was I might do a live video reaction of the body cam footage that recently came out of Abrego Garcia's human trafficking arrest, where the cops suspected him of human trafficking. I might want to do a live review of that. That sounds like a good kind of video idea, honestly. I was thinking about that a few minutes ago. That might be like a good part 2 to that, but I mostly broke down everything, except I really didn't mention that too much. But I really did break down everything. I showed the immigration statute. I talked about the laws. I I'm not a lawyer, but I know how to read some basic English literature and laws about immigration. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure out he didn't need to be found guilty of any crime to be deported. It's simply true. But definitely go check it out. It explains the whole situation. It links you to an actual law firm website with the actual immigration statute. So, yeah, there's an active court order. He can't come back to the U.S. And also, we can't go and get him because he's a citizen of El Salvador. So, how are we going to go and kidnap a citizen of El Salvador? He's a natural born citizen of El Salvador. He's in their system now. The president says he doesn't want to release a terrorist man into the United States. The El Salvadorian president said that. Trump was following the Supreme Court's orders. And they said, oh, bring him back for an immigration hearing. An immigration hearing isn't the same thing as a due process or as a criminal trial. These Democrats think that Abrego Garcia was supposed to get a criminal trial, which simply is not true. That man was never going to get judged by a jury of his peers. A judge was pretty much going to say, you're getting deported. And that's the same outcome would have happened regardless. Controversial opinion, but the same outcome would have happened regardless. And that would be kidnapping. But the whole video breaks it down. The whole video breaks it down. So it's really... I have all that, buddy, and it's also 12:35 at nighttime. So I think I'll keep doing my YouTube thing and keep growing my channel. Well, you say I'm drinking the fake tan, but I actually talked about... talked badly about, for 1 second, about the Trump administration in the recent video. They made one mistake. But definitely go check out my recent video about Abrego Garcia. I just posted that like 5 or 10 minutes ago. Very, very interesting thing. Very, very interesting. If you're new to the channel, hit the like and subscribe button. Should we go to whitehouse.com on YouTube and see the video that they posted? I think we should. Whitehouse.com. Live. They did a live stream. Where is it? Come on. It can't be gone already. Okay, I'm kind of pissed. Maybe they did delete it off their channel. I feel like it has to be on here somewhere. I'm trying to wait for a couple hundred people to see if they would join in. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't, but all right, this is hilarious.
I do want to get back into your headlines here as we take a live look over the Vatican. We continue to cover everything related to the start of the Papal conclave just days away, set to begin on Wednesday, that is May 7th. Now, the election to select the next pope, the leader of the Catholic Church, will officially get underway. And I do want to pop up this image right here on your screen. Now, ahead of the conclave, the White House posting this AI-generated photo of President Trump as the Pope. No caption there, but the image retweeted about 29,000 times with, as you'd imagine, a lot of comments. Just a week ago, President Trump traveled to the Vatican alongside the First Lady, Melania Trump, and a lot of other world leaders for the funeral of Pope Francis. Important to note, of course, the two had their disagreements over the years, but President Trump said he wanted to honor the Pope's memory. As I mentioned, the conclave set to begin Wednesday morning, so let's take another live look here at St. Peter's Basilica, or St. Peter's Square there. As you can see, so many folks are gathering, but just 1 week ago, that funeral taking place as about 250,000 people were there to watch. The cardinals are going to gather to elect a new pope to lead the Catholic Church, and only cardinals under the age of 80 are eligible to vote in that conclave as electors gather in Vatican City, typically inside of the Sistine Chapel. The cardinals are cut off from the outside
Trump
world.
cult
They have no
member.
access to phones, internet, or media of any kind. If there is no agreement, there are up to 4 votes allowed per day, with 2 of them in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. Each cardinal there will write a name on a ballot, which is then folded up and placed in a chalice on the altar. To be elected pope, a candidate needs 2/3 majority at least. Now, after each...
Alright, I don't care about them voting for the Pope. Anyway, it's interesting, but whatever. I'm not a part of it. I can't vote in that. I think I know what we can do to drum up some support. This video right here always gets great support. It always gets great, wonderful support. So let's drum up some support.
And women of the finest military in the world.
Let's drum up some support, guys. Hold the door. Hold the door. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Nicole. Hit the like and subscribe button if you guys are new to the channel. This is all for parody purposes. It's a joke. There's no proof of it, but I want to show you guys a funny music video. If you're curious, this will maybe make you laugh. Hopefully, if you're a Democrat, this will still make you laugh.
Michael and I.
Is anything scary?
You know, well, when Michelle's mad. When Michelle's mad.
Oh yeah. Name is Uncle the man.
Oh yeah. I would have thought you noticed the dick in her pants.
Oh yeah.
Obama's really a homo. His wife is a man.
Oh yeah.
They had the country full with it. They really had us fooled. They had the whole world full with it.
The whole world full with it. The whole world full. Oh yeah. Smash the like and subscribe button. It's all joke and parody. So calm down.
Oh yeah. I would have thought you noticed the dick in her pants. Oh yeah. Obama's really a homo. His wife is a man. Oh yeah. They had the country full with it. They really had us fooled. They had the whole world full with it. Yeah, they had us all fooled. They had the country full with it. They really had us fooled. They had the whole world full with it. Yeah, they had us all fooled.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
had it with Obama, so let's just
Everyone go check out my recent video, What's the Truth Behind Abrego Garcia's Due Process? I explained everything with immigration statutes and more. Let's watch that one more time.
And women of the finest military in the world. Michael and I.
Is anything scary?
You know, well, when Michelle's mad.
I'm not even joking. I'm not 100% sure what she is.
Michelle Obama is a man. Oh yeah. Her real name is Michael. She's a trans. Oh yeah. I would have thought you notice the dick in her pants. Oh yeah, Obama's really a homo. His wife is a man. Oh yeah, they had the country full of it. They really had us fooled. They had the whole world full of it. Yeah, they had us all fooled. Michelle Obama is a man. Oh yeah. Her real name is Michael. She's a trans. Oh yeah. I would have thought you noticed the dick in her pants. Oh yeah. Obama's really a homo. His wife is a man. Oh yeah. They had the country full of it. They really had us fooled. They had the whole world full of it. Yeah, they had us all fooled. They had the country full of it. They really had us fooled. They had the whole world full of it. Yeah, they had us all fooled.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first
Well,
woman
we already
president?
had it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know, Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Very interesting, right? I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's not true. Sorry about that lag or glitch or whatever, how you guys experienced it. I accidentally clicked off the YouTube app. Hey, Aaron, that's hilarious. Who knows if it's true or not, but smash the like and subscribe button. More interesting enough, I dropped a full video about Abrego Garcia. I linked the laws and the immigration acts and everything like that. So this is really an interesting video if you want to check it out. Michelle Obama is a man. Sorry, that song is really catchy. Really, really catchy song. I don't know if it's true or not, though. Who knows? But I'm not 100% sure it's not true either. What do you guys think? Is it true or is it not true? Trump's Alcatraz? Huh. We're talking about, is Michelle Obama a man or not? We just watched a whole funny music video about it. But I don't really know if it's true or not. I don't know. I agree with you, Sonia. Michael. Yeah, absolutely, I agree with you. Check out my recent video breaking down Abrego Garcia's quote-unquote due process. I show lots of laws and immigration laws and statutes that you can use against an argument against some of the liberals because they seem not to understand anything about the immigration law. But let's check out Trump's new Alcatraz that he's bringing back. If I can press play here ever.
Alcatraz, one of the stuff of Hollywood movies like The Rock may be back in business. President Trump is seriously floating the idea of...
Go check out the video. If you disagree with the video I made about Abrego Garcia, comment on it. Show your hate towards it. It's getting nothing but love.
Trump sees it as a way to combat what he calls radicalized judges. Check it out.
Our country needs law and order. Alcatraz is, I would say, the ultimate, right? Alcatraz, Sing Sing and Alcatraz, the movies. But it's right now a museum, believe it or not. A lot of people go there. It housed the most violent criminals in the world, and nobody ever escaped. One person almost got there, but they, as you know the story, they found his clothing rather badly ripped up, and it was a lot of shark bites. And we'll see if we can bring it back in large form, add a lot. It sort of represents something that's both horrible and beautiful and
Another game-changing idea, the Trump DHS offering to pay for illegal alien self-deportation flights and offer an additional $1,000 stipend to leave. Here's the president on that.
we're going to pay each one a certain amount of money, and we're going to get them a beautiful flight back to where they came from, and they have a period of time. And if they make it, we're going to work with them so that maybe someday, with a little work, they can come back in if they're good people. If they don't work, and if we take them out after the date, then they're never coming back.
So I want to go to our San Francisco correspondent. That would be Greg Gutfeld. You've been at Alcatraz twice. You think you're going to see this
Yes, I was
in your
there.
lifetime?
I was there by choice. It was our grade school and high school field trip. I think they wanted to scare us straight, but it was San Francisco. Didn't work. Well, I mean, that came out wrong. But you know what he's trying to do? I think what Trump's doing is he's trying to paint a grim picture for illegals who think they're going to wait this out. You know, is your country really as bad as Alcatraz? Maybe instead of seeking asylum here, you might think twice. He's trying to undo the perception of the incentives that were put in place that caused this unprecedented invasion. So, you know, sending them to Alcatraz is kind of a compromise between El Salvador and the Roosevelt Hotel, where they're staying at now. If you pay them $1,000, okay, that's 2 or 3 days of room and board that they would already get. So you're probably saving money by giving them $1,000 bucks. But what's interesting here is the number one concern that Trump ran on was illegal immigration, and he crushed it. So the Democrats replaced that with judges. So imagine you cross, you know, the finish line of a marathon, you break through the tape, and they say, sorry, that's not the real finish line. It's another 20 miles up there. That's what the Dems did. He solved the actual problem. The Dems, you know, they didn't want to build a wall to keep illegals out. Now they're building a wall to keep them in. And it's through legal means, which we know is more administrative than legal. I thought that we had agreed on the worst first. Didn't we all? I know we all agreed on the worst first. And then the Democrats decided that their worst is way worse than everybody else's. So a Maryland dad, wife-beating human trafficker, didn't qualify as the worst. It's like they changed the boarding system. You know, Group A was the worst first. But no, the wife-beating human trafficker.
It's 1 in the morning. Why would I go outside?
It makes no sense.
It is interesting how the Garcia case sort of went away after the 18th count of domestic violence. Then they were like, well, maybe we shouldn't talk about this anymore. Judge Jeanine, reopening Alcatraz. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime, but like, for example, you have to you have to ship
Enjoy
everything
your
in, and then you
beautiful
also have to,
country
like,
under Trump,
pull all
sir.
the sewage out because there's no
If you don't like it, you can leave.
Let me tell you something. When I was a judge, I used to send prisoners to Sing Sing. If I could have sent them to Alcatraz, it would have been great because I came across some that absolutely deserved to be there. Donald Trump made it very clear it wasn't just for illegals. He talked about domestic terrorists, cartel bosses, serial killers, Americans. Let me tell you, I think the island location, the cold water, the shark-infested water, the isolation it represents, the fact that this is something that you don't want to go to as a defendant, you don't want to be sentenced there. I know it's going to cost money. I know, but it's a maximum security location. You're not going to get visits by your family. They're not going to fly out there, get on a boat, and go to Alcatraz. This is the worst thing you can do for a criminal defendant in the United States in terms of sentencing. And I think it's great. I think we need a supermax like this. We don't have anything like El Salvador. And if the goal is to house the worst of the worst, he's got it. Now, we've got jail overcrowding in California. All right, we need more room. So that's one of the reasons, the historical continuity of this thing. And the surveillance technology that we can now utilize with drone surveillance and tunneling that we've got down because of what's going on in Gaza. We figured that out. I think that this is a symbolic deterrent, and it's legendary. And in the end, I think that when it's only reachable by boat and helicopter, they're going to understand. There's no conjugal visits here, boys. Your girlfriend ain't showing up.
I wish, Harold, that President Trump would try to keep Rikers open
Yes.
Because when they close that, there's not going to be enough places to put all the criminals in New York.
Well, it's good to be back around the table. Hope everybody had a good week. And that's a couple things. And I frame the way I think about all of this in the context of DOGE and other government efficiency. One, do we have a need for more maximum security prisons? I don't know the answer. We may. And based on some of the things that you've said, Judge, today and other instances, we probably do. We certainly may have a need here in New York. Two, what would be the most efficient location and the most efficient building cost for that? I would hope that we would apply that. I think that's what Mr. Musk and his team would want. In light of all of that, it just strikes me as hard to believe that Alcatraz, which for those who have seen it, it's a beautiful piece of real estate. It has a weird history and a tortured history. Al Capone was there. It was closed in 1963 by, of all people, Robert F. Kennedy, when he was the Attorney General. You look at it there, I mean, if you've been to San Francisco, and you've been there before, you know what you're dealing with here. There's no doubt it has some security apparatus to it that's interesting. But the reason they closed it, Dana touched on at the outset, because of cost. So if costs are an issue, it would seem to me that one of the things you're doing with prisoners or people who commit these heinous crimes, be they citizens or not, is you don't want to reward them by sending them to one of the prettiest pieces of real estate in the country, and where it's so expensive for taxpayers. But that's just me. When it comes to what the president's doing on self-deportation, I support him 100%. I hope that 1,000 is enough. I think he's even wondering himself if $1,000 and a coach class ticket is going to get people to self-deport. If you give them 1,000, they probably show up with 960 because they got about $40 worth of
It's
stuff
like at
on the
the
plane
airport
when
when
they
they're
get
like,
home.
we're looking for
Right, so-
15 volunteers.
So, but I
Now
think-
it's 1,200.
I give him, I think what Greg said it best. I think we may not agree on all the details the way Greg described, but he's right in terms of this is a paradigm to undo the incentives to come to the country that were readily and abundantly apparent back before President Trump became president.
Guys, check out the video I made. What's the truth behind Abrego Garcia's due process?
And deportations of criminals and the worst first, it has to be foremost in the president's mind, as it has been now for 112, 105 or 106 days.
I think one of the things, Jesse, on the self-deportation that is helpful, and that he said it, and he made the strong.
I don't know,
point, and I
Flo.
think
You gotta watch my video about it.
If you
I
take
explain
yourself on
everything
this,
behind it.
And you do the right thing, and you go back, then you.
I
could
explain
have
the
a legal
whole
path to get back.
situation.
So that might.
Check out the video.
That's just a trick, Dana.
I've already talked about it a million times.
Message.
It's about time I uploaded a video discussing
The
it.
message is Trump forces everybody into his frame. The Democrats woke up on Monday. They didn't want to talk about illegal immigration.
No.
They had no
Smash
plans
the
to
like
talk
and
about
subscribe
Alcatraz,
button, guys,
but
and
they're
check out
talking
the
about
recent video I
Alcatraz, and they're
uploaded.
defending criminal migrants. Please don't send them to prison. It's exactly what Trump's trying to do here. And he looks like a creative problem solver. And then what Greg said, you have migrants now thinking, I don't want to come here, and other migrants who are here saying, now I think I should leave. No one has ever escaped except Sean Connery. I think, no, that's true.
And Sean Hannity.
Alcatraz.
Morris and the brothers.
Fred Morris and the brothers, I forgot. I thought it was Nick Cage. He has a
Everyone go check out this
red
video. I explain the immigration law. I read the immigration statute. I tell you what Trump did wrong. And if you don't agree with the video, you can go spread hate here. It would really piss me off if you spread hate here. I would hate it.
Like he has, or the Supreme Court has to narrow.
This is my pride and joy here. The truth behind Abrego Garcia's due process.
Pandemic. What did the court say? We couldn't even go to church. Not that I was going to church, but if I had wanted to go to church, I wasn't allowed to go to church. The courts can't step in and say, you guys have to leave the country. These are emergency powers that need to be invoked because this is a national emergency. We had a demented president who allowed an invasion, and the courts never stepped in. Now we have a president with a mandate who's trying to stop the invasion, and the courts are stepping in to stop the president from stopping an invasion. That is crazy. Judge, I've said it 100 times. We need to stop people from going to law school. The president needs to sign an executive order
Jesse, people like
to put a 10-year ban on people going to law school, just so we can figure out what the heck is going on.
You know the other option for the
Check out the Abrego Garcia due process video.
Good luck waiting for that, Harold.
I explain everything right here.
It's not wrong, but it's unlikely.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.
You won't get it anywhere else. Check out the recent video I uploaded, the full story of Abrego Garcia's deportation.
Well, President Trump says he wants to reopen the notorious Alcatraz prison off the coast of California to house America's worst of the worst.
Madeline Rivera is live in Washington.
Also, if anyone wants to debate me of anything of Trump's policies, please join my Discord. We can debate on the live stream here one-on-one. Now let's hear about Alcatraz. The only time I ever seen Alcatraz when I was playing Call of Duty. No, I'm not here to debate a keyboard warrior. I'm only debating people face to face on live stream.
The details. Good morning, Maddie.
Good morning, guys. The president says he wants to reopen Alcatraz.
You can message me on Twitter or Discord.
With judges who have placed roadblocks on parts of his agenda, especially on immigration. The president saying on Truth Social, for too long, America has been plagued by vicious, violent, and repeat criminal offenders, the dregs of society who will never contribute anything other than misery and suffering. That is why today I am directing the Bureau of Prisons together with the Department of Justice, FBI, and Homeland Security to reopen.
I think we should all end wars. It doesn't matter if it's Israel or Ukraine.
America's most ruthless and violent offenders. The president was pressed.
I would love to educate you, Flo, because I love to educate people that think they know everything. That's my specialty. What the hell just happened? Can you guys still hear me? Oh, okay. I turned off the camera. I didn't even realize that was a thing on here. Apparently you can turn off the camera. If anyone wants to debate me, just join my Discord. I would love to debate you, Flo. I would love to debate you and educate you because you think you know everything. I don't know everything, so you definitely do not. But definitely go check out... Hey, shout out Cleveland, my friend. Go check out this video, though. I just uploaded it. What's the truth behind Abrego Garcia's due process? I break down everything. I even tell you about the immigration statute. I tell you about literally everything. Hey, much appreciated, Hill. Hit the like and subscribe button. Check this video out. Drop a comment if you love it, if you hate it. I literally talk about the entire thing, the immigration statute, the immigration law, on multiple things. So please, hit the like and subscribe button. Check out that video even if you're not a fan of Trump. It's really interesting. A lot of Democrats will be educated. A lot of Republicans will be educated. I educated myself. He had 2 deportation orders that he ignored, but I go into the full thing in the video. I don't just glaze Trump either. I tell you exactly what he did right and exactly what he did wrong. So it's really great to listen to and great to hear. It's a great video to check out. Hit the like and subscribe button, though, guys, if you're new to the channel.
Just an idea I've had, and I guess because the judges, so many of these radicalized judges, they want to have trials for every single, think of it, every single person that's in our country illegally, that came in illegally, that would mean millions of trials, and it's just so ridiculous what's happening. And it's
everyone, go check this out. What's the truth behind Abrego Garcia's due process? I break down the immigration statutes, the immigration law. I break down every single thing to think of. It's probably the best video about it on YouTube right now. So please go check it out. It doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, you hate Trump, you're a Bernie supporter. Please go watch this. Tell me what you think of it in the comment section, because it is the law of the United States. Hit the like and subscribe button.
been a symbol, Alcatraz. It's a symbol of law and order.
Alcatraz was used as a maximum security federal prison for nearly 30 years. It housed several well-known criminals, including Al Capone and George Machine Gun Kelly. The prison was closed in 1963 because it became too expensive to operate. Now it's a popular tourist destination with more than 1 million visitors per year. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi calls the president's proposal not a serious...
It's not MAGA propaganda. I give you the actual law statute in the link in the description and on the screen. I read you the laws from the United States. So if you don't like the video, you can comment down below and tell me what you think of it. But even as Democrats, even as Harris supporters, Bernie supporters, whatever you are, I think you'll all agree on it.
1,000 times more important than a stroller, because Kristen Welker said, well, stroller prices are down. He's like, basically saying, are you crazy? You're focused on...
It's all real information directly from the law.
I feel that way about him talking about reopening Alcatraz. Obviously, you can't reopen it. It's a museum and all that. But I do think he's highlighting the bigger picture, which is we got criminals roaming the street, Americans and non-Americans.
You gotta watch the video. There's a lot more to it than that.
Americans who wanted the Department of Justice to look at it.
Rick, you're wrong. He was never going to go to trial. That's not. You don't have to go to trial for deportation. Just an immigration hearing. Please watch the video. Educate yourself. You don't know what you're talking about. Please, everyone, go check out this video. It's the best video. It's not glazing Trump. It's not saying that he didn't do anything wrong. I point out everything that happened in this video.
Maybe get a playground in there. We'll see what goes on. You know, a little shuttle so
dude, I read multiple sentences from the statute. You're just mad that I spoke facts about the video.
Without hesitation.
It's nothing about it's rambling. It's all facts.
I would say, maybe just the last decade, where you have all these Democrats.
An immigration hearing is not a trial. A trial is by a jury of your peers. A hearing does not have a jury of your peers. You don't know anything about law. Please watch the video.
Law enforcement, and now they're making a comeback, and now we got all these criminals that we got to pick up off the street.
I'm Steve Ducey.
Yes, he came into the country illegally. If you come into the country illegally, there's a great chance that you can end up in prison or deported. It's the sad truth. If you break the law and do a crime, there's a great chance of that happening. So yes, if you break the law, you'll probably end up in prison, unfortunately.
With that, let's bring in President Trump's supporters are Tom Homan. Tom, thank you very much for being here today. You know, when I look back at those videos, and you remember what that was like with these planes.
Don't listen to him, guys. You got to go check out the video for yourself. It's not rambling. It's all about the immigration statutes and the immigration law. He even admitted it himself.
If you look at what the Biden administration did, he gave a free airline ticket to the city, their choice. When they got arrested by the Border Patrol, they picked what city they want to go to. Free hotel room at $500 a night, 3 meals a day, free medical care, and work authorization. So we're in the export program. So we're turning the CBP home at, reversing it, and sending people home. But the president's right on the cost savings. I mean, rather than, especially in sanctuary cities where it used to be one agent can arrest one bad guy in a county jail. Now we got to send a whole team for officer safety reasons to look for these people out in the public. But I think this is ideal for like the 1.4 million illegal aliens who've been ordered deported but became fugitives, and open up other opportunities. It's going to be an extreme cost savings, first of all, for the right people. And I think it's going to help remove those that want to come back under a legal program. For instance, if you're not deported but you have a U.S. citizen child here,
the president of El Salvador, as stated in the video, said he will not release his citizen from his country. That man was born in El Salvador. The president of his country does not want a gang member to be released. The reason he's in prison is because all criminal gang members, anyone in a gang that's an El Salvadorian citizen, goes to prison.
Aren't going to take advantage of this program, but we got to keep looking at criminals just about the other population.
But what's your sense, because this CBP reverse has been already in effect, and now the plane thing is a new part of it, but what's your sense of how many people are actually taking advantage of this program, Tom?
Last I looked, I think we're at about 7,000.
Trump is your president.
I've taken advantage of it, but it's now being pushed out in multimedia settings.
Well, it was too late. He was already deported to El Salvador after those orders. He was already in a plane flying over the country by the time the judge ruled anything.
Our schedule and our standards. So the more we message,
go check out the full video.
But again, when it comes to criminal,
this explains everything about the process. The truth behind Abrego Garcia's due process. I'm not going to sit here and explain it all. It's in this 10-minute video right here.
As this judge helped someone to help them get out of the courthouse because she heard that ICE was in the courthouse, even though she was about to conduct a trial of this individual who was accused of assault, and the people who accused him of it were sitting in the front row. So the Wisconsin governor, Tony Evers, is not happy about this. And he named you in this. Watch this.
Tom Homan was asked about me in this guidance after he apparently threatened to arrest a
Pedro, you will be deported if you truly are an immigrant, a legal immigrant.
As disgusted as I am about the continued action,
Trump is your president,
I'm not afraid.
And nothing you can do about that. So cry.
The right thing. I will not start today.
Guys, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican. This video can explain everything to you.
You can support sanctuary.
Go check it out. I'm telling you.
If that's what you choose to do.
Recent video on my channel.
On impeding our law enforcement efforts or knowingly harboring, concealing an illegal alien from ICE, those are felonies, and we will seek prosecution. So, hopefully you don't cross that line, but it's not a threat. I've been saying since day one. There are laws on the books against impediment and knowing, harboring, concealing an alien. And we're going
Abrego Garcia, gone forever.
U.S. citizens for harboring, concealing aliens in the workplace or the home when I was an agent. Why should be a free for all for elected officials? So don't cross that line. I said it from day one. We showed the judge. The judge want to play that game. We're prosecuting her. So anybody can be prosecuted for violating laws, including him.
Guys, I'm telling you, this is the truth. The truth about Abrego Garcia. It's all in this video.
Tom Homan, thank you. Borders are always good to see you.
Recently posted on my channel.
Click here to subscribe to Fox News
it's all there.
And catch our hottest interviews.
It's all there. All there on my recent video. Now, someone said, let's watch this. This isn't the full body cam.
Video of Abrego Garcia.
Even the cops say here that he looks like he's human trafficking.
A 2022 traffic stop. Here is video of the exchange between Abrego Garcia and officers.
Hello, sir. How are you? Good, and you? All right. Anything good? You got a bunch of people here, don't you? It's 1-4-6. Yes. Go back to work. Gotcha.
You know what you got here, right? He's hauling these people for money. There's 8 people in there.
I didn't know that. They put an extra row of seats in there.
Yeah. So he's getting paid to haul these people, probably to Maryland, I would say. They don't have any luggage in there, right? And if you get them out, they're going to have toothpaste and they're going to have toothbrushes in their pockets, I guarantee it.
Guarantee it. Guarantee it.
So President Trump doubling down on his promise to make America safe again, ordering the Bureau of Prison, DOJ, and Homeland Security to reopen Alcatraz to house, quote, America's most ruthless...
Thank God I'm from Florida.
He is explaining that decision.
Please check out the truth behind Abrego Garcia.
So many of these radicalized judges, they want to have trials for every single, think of it, every single person that's in our country illegally, that came in illegally. That would mean millions of trials, and it's just so ridiculous what's happening. And it's long been a symbol, Alcatraz. It's a symbol of law and order.
All right, so our next list says this is exactly what America voted for. Former Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Army, Van Hipp, joins us now. So, Van, I guess the question is, can the president reopen it?
Absolutely. And for those folks who are complaining it's going to cost too much, it's going to be too difficult to do from a construction standpoint, we've had a builder in this country, the best builder in America for years and years in the commercial sector is a guy by the name of Donald Trump. I think he can give, if they try to slow roll this and bureaucrats try to do what they like to do, I think the president can give them all the advice they need on how to reopen Alcatraz the right way.
So, Van, why do we need this? Is it because of all the criminals roaming the street, this reimagining the criminal justice system? What's the need?
This is what the American people voted for, Lawrence. They're tired of thugs and gangs roaming rampant in our city, on our city streets. They're tired of murderers and terrorists coming across our border. And sometimes we forget why we have a federal government. The states came together to provide for the common defense of the American people. That's why we have a federal government. And I think President Trump realizes that his most important responsibility under the Constitution as Commander-in-Chief is to keep the American people safe. And that's what he's trying to do. Get the
Trump is trolling these
as
clowns
as he can from the American people who they would harm.
Obviously,
the truth about Abrego Garcia's due process, quote unquote. Check that video out. My Trump supporters and the Democrats can even like it.
It absolutely is.
Because it
The
speaks
president
the
in your
facts.
clip said it's a symbol of law and order. And Lawrence, what we've had in this country the past 4 years.
Hey,
is
Flo, I
stability.
hope you joined my Discord or
Make no
message me
mistake,
on
this
Twitter.
president
I'd love to
he's communicating
debate
to
you
the American people
one-on-one.
That law and order and the rule of law will be upheld
Near
in
are
this
you?
administration.
Hi.
And he's communicating to the criminal element that it's a new day in America.
We're just
and
talking
law and
about
order is here to stay
Alcatraz
as long as he's
and
president.
Donald Trump and Abrego Garcia.
The prison.
I think pretty darn quick. He's already ordered the FBI, the Bureau of Prisons, and the Department of Homeland Security to get to work on this. It's going to involve
Hey, what's up, the cream one?
Secretary Bergen will be ready.
The cream one, you definitely got to check out this new video I just uploaded. You would love it.
Great to be with you.
Check this out and leave me a comment. What's the truth behind Abrego Garcia's due process?
And most compelling analysis.
Republicans, Democrats, it doesn't matter your your party. We can all agree that this video is pretty much factual, considering I linked the laws and stuff like that in it. So definitely go check that out.
Tonight, our exclusive look into DOGE. Elon Musk was nice enough to invite us into the Eisenhower building last night to sit in on his weekly 10 p.m. DOGE meeting. Yeah, they usually meet at 10 o'clock. I'm almost in bed by then. We met the whole crew, even Big Balls, and they showed us how DOGE really gets done. We sat back, listened, and we learned a lot, and we hope you do too. Here's part one of our...
The cream one, I like you. Maybe you can add a little bit of those comments onto this video because I forgot to mention that about his temporary hold. I think I might have mentioned it in the video actually, his temporary hold, but I like the way you talked about it. I'm pretty sure I was pretty thorough with the video.
So, like a board meeting. Like a board meeting. Exactly.
All right. Well, I guess we normally go around the table and say what do we get done this week? Wait, this way? Sure. No, that sounds fair. So actually, a lot of great work at the Treasury this week. One of the crazy things with regards to the Treasury is that
Elon Musk it.
and the computers at the Treasury actually pay about $5 trillion per year, like crazy amounts. There was formerly not a budget code on there. So if a payment was made, you didn't know actually what it was for. It could have been for anything. Yeah. There was a $4 billion COVID fund.
The facts are the facts, guys. Check out the video.
Receipts required, so people could just draw down on it. And when people looked into it, this wasn't us, this was before us. They found that money was being used to rent out Caesar's Palace for parties, rent out stadiums, etc. And so the one change that DOGE made with Department of Education is we had the simple requirement that if you draw down money, you must first upload a receipt. That was the only change that was made. You must upload your receipt. And upon doing so, nobody drew down any money anymore.
Apparently, Flo, you didn't watch more than 30 seconds of the video. And I already know you only watched 30 seconds of it. Go back and watch the video. It tells you exactly what process immigrants get in the United States. and they don't get a trial like regular citizens.
We don't need it
They get an
anymore.
immigration
That's
hearing.
interesting.
They were renting Caesar's Palace.
Yes, they were like basically partying on the taxpayer money.
Stadiums.
Yes,
Leasing stadiums.
leasing stadiums
For what?
for parties, basically.
For parties.
Yes,
That's a big party.
it's a big party.
You'd think if you were stealing, you'd start small.
They do start small, but then what happens is over the years, so generally the fraud starts out small and they try to hide it. But then year after year, if nobody stops the fraud, it gets more and more brazen. And every year it gets bigger until they're literally renting out stadiums. Like
What's that, $1 million to rent out a stadium?
Fraud in flagrante delicto, okay? We're talking at scale.
This is driving me crazy.
Oh, yeah.
When you find these things, do you guys get mad? You're like, yes, I got one. How does it make you feel?
It's so common. It's so common. I mean, you just get numb to it. Like, unfortunately, you get like the 100th time you've heard it, it's hard not to get a little numb. Yeah. You know, but like, and by the 200th time, you're like, well, okay, it's just another day at the office.
We checked, is the Small Business Administration giving loans to dead people over the age of 120? The answer was yes, and it was around $330 million in total. So
people with a birthday that could not possibly be real.
Yeah.
Meaning they're over 100, they're 115 years old or older. The oldest living American is 114. So it's safe to say if anybody is in the system as 115 years or older, that is fake.
So just by sharing a database and looking at social security numbers that showed that at the time of the loan, they had listed as over 115 years old, or actually under 11. We didn't even check for under 18.
Babies and dead
under 11 years old. That's pretty clear.
Babies
right?
and dead people who are getting loans.
That was $660 million.
And also people with birthdays in the future.
What does that mean?
Well,
I love this discussion about Abrego Garcia, but guys, this discussion absolutely belongs in the comment section
You're
here.
talking about like your great grandchildren, like with a birthday, like I think it was like 2165. So more than a century from now was the birthday.
George Jetson was getting paid.
Yes, because your birthday is in the future, like the far future, not like next year. And this is either fraudulent or we have your birthday wrong.
It's either a typo or someone's stealing.
Which is it? Yes.
Right.
Yes. You should at least ask which isn't.
Do you guys feel you're getting justice and accountability?
One of the extreme examples of non-accountability in some cases has occurred at some of the small agencies. I think the Inter-American Foundation, IAF, is one of the agencies we visited where they get $50 million a year, congressional money, to give grants. These are things like alpaca farming in Peru, improving
That's a real example.
Yes, that's the real description. Improving the marketability of peas in Guatemala.
Really?
Fruit jam. Yes.
What? Yeah.
So you might expect, in the private sector, a nonprofit to give, 80 to 90% of their money to grantees. In the case of IAF, that was 58%. So the other half goes towards management, travel.
What we're find exactly, I mean, to use an example is that.
Hello, Kim.
Even if you agree with supporting.
Hit the like and subscribe button, guys.
Well, actually, most of the money never made it out of DC. Mm-hmm. It's going into the pockets of people in the neighborhood.
What percentage?
Get to Peru.
Right. So what percentage do you think doesn't even get to the destination it's supposed to?
I believe the GAO estimates, and this is not our estimate, I believe it was on the order of only 10 to 15 cents on the dollar actually gets to the end recipient, whether you agree with that cause or not.
So they're just stealing the money before it even gets anywhere.
There's layers of stealing. So there's the first layer of stealing, second layer of stealing, third layer of stealing.
Subcontractor.
Yeah, exactly. Contractor, subcontractor. It's like peeling an onion. And then maybe, and sometimes it's zero. Just flat, you get to the bottom of the onion, there's nothing there.
So maybe no one got a sex change in Guatemala.
It's possible, But no one got a section in Guatemala.
I overheard a contractor tell one of her colleagues to falsify billable hours by creating a PowerPoint to mask a delay in the onboarding process in front of me. And this is like hour zero at this agency. And so, I mean, this is just a common theme that you take a look at these contracts, you take a look at these grants, and it's veiled in noble rhetoric. You know, it's at the top level. It
sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. And then you actually just follow what are the funds actually doing?
Or send us a picture.
Exactly. And
the send us a picture request is incredibly good. But Pixar didn't happen. And then like, and it wouldn't be that hard to just, frankly, they could search for some fake pics on the internet or get AI to generate the pics, but they don't even bother doing that.
So you caught them cold billing fraud.
Oh, I caught them, her advising her colleague to do this because it takes a few days to onboard. So that is being investigated right now.
Yeah, I mean, generally, like these programs, these grants are going to be like along the lines of save the baby pandas. And it's like, well, of course, who wouldn't want to save the baby pandas? And you know, in some cases, they've got a show panda, which they will trot out for special occasions. In a lot of cases, they don't even have a show panda.
No panda.
There's not even one panda. Because we asked for pictures, and we don't even get one panda. And it's like, well, you gotta, well, that's a lot of, you know, what's $1 billion get you? Does not even get you one panda?
You really want to see a baby panda?
Yeah, well, like, you know, like the Ebola money, we're like, okay, well, we agree with, like, we shouldn't have Ebola, you know. Where's the money going? Oh, it's going to Deloitte in DC. Like, what is an accounting firm doing with Ebola money?
What has been the biggest resistance? Is there one agency, is there one department that when you guys walk in, they all start fighting you, start hiding things?
I thought you weren't going to talk.
I'm sorry.
But I guess you can answer that question. Sure. I mean, yes, we've certainly had some battles.
Battles?
Yeah. I mean, who should talk about you, sir?
Oh, me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So there's an agency, a small agency called the United States Institute of Peace. We actually went into the agency and found that they had loaded guns inside of their headquarters. Institute for Peace.
I mean, any given company, any given organizational name is going to be kind of the opposite of the title.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was by far the least peaceful agency that we've worked with, ironically.
Of course.
Additionally, we found that they were spending money on things like private jets, and they even had a $130,000 contract with a former member of the Taliban. This is real. We don't encounter that at most agencies.
Yeah.
What was the money going to the Taliban for?
So as a contractor, they received $130,000 for generic services. And to Elon's point, there was not actually a clear description of what the contractor services were for. But
was it for opium?
Unclear.
Or weapons?
Or nothing.
Or nothing.
Or a bribe.
Or nothing.
And you naturally have to ask the question, well, how did we get here? Like when the country was founded, there were only 4 agencies. Today there are over 400. So there's been a 100x increase in the number of agencies since the founding of the nation. And thanks to President Trump, he's now signed 2 executive orders to start to reduce the number of agencies in the government, and the Institute of Peace was one of them, which is why our team went in to try and understand what was going on. And that's when we found all of the craziness, like the weapons in their armory. We found the payments to the Taliban.
So just try to hide the evidence.
Right, so just a few hours after we got into their headquarters, we found that their chief accountant had actually deleted over 1 terabyte of accounting records from several years. So you'd have to ask the question, well, why would somebody do that? And the DOGE team, fortunately, was able to recover that data with the help of a few great employees at the Institute of Peace. And I think the most troubling thing was they received $55 million a year from Congress, and any money that went unspent, instead of returning that to Congress, they would sweep it into a private bank account, which had no congressional oversight. And that's what they would use to fund things like events at their headquarters and the private jets. And so I think it's
wild
because most Americans don't know what's going on at a lot of these smaller agencies, and this is, I think, the most extreme case of some of the wasteful spend that we're finding.
So the agencies are hiding money from you. They're sending it to the Taliban. They have loaded weapons in the department buildings.
At the Institute of Peace.
At the Institute of Peace.
Yeah.
That's right.
So this is a cover-up when you guys roll in.
This one is a cover-up.
to cover.
They did delete a vast amount of financial information. That's really a definition of a cover-up.
Isn't that illegal to delete evidence?
Yes.
Shred documents?
It is. It's certainly illegal to delete accounting records that that Congress would certainly want to know where the congressionally appropriated funds are going from taxpayers.
When you catch them going Hillary style on their computers, do you refer this to the Department of Justice?
In this case, we did refer the evidence in the accounting example to the FBI and DOJ, and we were proud to do that. So yes, we did.
Resistance has shown up in some very surprising places. So, for example, the famous fork in the road email, the deferred resignation program. So this was a program where you could resign from the government, collect pay and benefits for the next 8 months. Probably the most attractive separation program ever in human history. And the resistance actually came from the outside with people saying this is a trick. And I heard somebody refer to it as an apple with a razor blade. And no, this was just a really juicy apple, caramel dipped apple. It was that good, but people were talked out of taking it. And now what started to happen is we did about 80,000 people take it, and now those folks who did take it are on the beach or they moved on to a new job and they're still getting paid. And so now we're starting to offer fork 2 and fork 3, where people can see that someone's eaten this apple and it was actually really tasty and good for them.
Is DOGE just getting started? This is a long-term enterprise.
It's a long-term enterprise because if we take our eye off the ball, the waste and fraud will come roaring back.
They can DOGE when Democrats get back in power.
Yeah. Well, I think some of the things that, like, we're trying to have it be such that the funding is removed, so the grants are gone. So there's a lot of work required to restart the waste and fraud, and that will at least slow it down.
Click here to subscribe.
Elon is a hero, guys, an American hero.
And most compelling analysis.
Hit the like and subscribe button.
Elon, a year ago, right now, you were praised by the media.
The criminal charges are coming, buddy. The criminal charges are coming. Trump's only been in president for 3 or 4 months now. It's like the Democrats can't give this man a little bit of time.
Well, it's not been boring, that's for sure.
They said multiple times they're under investigation and they're going to go criminal charges.
Look on the bright side. But we have had people shoot up Tesla stores and burn down Tesla cars. I wasn't expecting that level of...
He's an African-American hero.
Attempts to sort of boycott Tesla and other companies and basically put whatever pressure they possibly can on me and Tesla and to some degree my other companies. And I guess that's what happens when you go after waste and fraud, because the people that are receiving the billions of dollars of waste and fraud want to keep receiving it. The people doing the bad things want to keep getting the money. And you're necessarily dealing with an unsavory group that is, since they're doing illegal things already and we're stopping them from doing illegal things, obviously they're going to do bad things to me and to my companies. It's somewhat inevitable, I think.
Do you regret doing what you've been doing? Do you regret coming out and supporting President Trump?
Yes, no. Cut that part.
I hope not.
No, I think it was essential for President Trump to win to ensure that America remained great, and that we reached greater heights. Really, some very basic things need to happen. We need to have, obviously, a secure border. We need to have safe cities. We need to have sensible spending. I think if President Trump had not won, I think the Democrat campaign to import vast numbers of illegal voters would have succeeded. And they would have naturalized vast numbers of illegals during the sort of Kamala regime. And they would have turned America into a one-party state from which we could never escape. Some people out there may be somewhat skeptical. They may think, well, that there isn't some Democrat plan to subvert democracy and achieve a permanent one-party
deep blue socialist state. I'll show you, if you, the more
Tons of billionaires were around Biden. No one said a word.
Simply asleep at the switch. He was ineffective regarding illegal immigration. No, he was highly effective at ushering in millions of illegal immigrants with a specific game plan to naturalize them and ensure that there were no...
That's exactly why they're scared to join my Discord. They don't want to debate me face to face.
So if you bring in 200,000 illegals, which will overwhelmingly vote...
Go check out the Abrego Garcia.
Becomes permanently blue.
The due process.
The House, the Senate, the presidency.
When did
Video.
Elon Musk finally say, you know what,
Quote, unquote.
I feel like something is really grossly wrong with what's going on in this country?
Well, I started having concerns about 3 years ago, but they were sort of, I just had like an uneasy feeling. Something doesn't feel right here. The censorship was becoming ridiculous. I had the most interacted with account on Twitter before the acquisition. So I was very finely attuned to what the algorithm was showing me or not showing me, and who got suspended or didn't get suspended. Twitter was being run at a very far left basis. When I felt the censorship walls closing in, I was like, okay, I got to do something, and the thing I can do is acquire Twitter and make it a bastion of free speech. And that's what we're trying to do with Twitter. Like, no one on the left has been suspended, but we did unsuspend people on the right. And, let the marketplace of ideas win. And then once we unlocked Twitter from being censored, then we started to see what was really going on. And I became increasingly concerned. I'm like, wait a second, I'm seeing videos of people streaming across the border on Twitter, now X. I was like, is this real? So I said, well, I'll go to the border myself. So I went to Eagle Pass, Texas, and sure enough, people streaming across the border. And I was like, so is there any vetting of these people? Like, no, the Biden administration is letting them all in. And I said, well, but some of these people clearly have criminal affiliations. Like, they literally have the criminal affiliation tattooed on their face. The left is kind to the criminals and cruel to the victims, which is not empathy at the end of the day. If you're a high trust society and you bring in low trust or untrustworthy individuals, that's now you've got a fundamental breakdown in the system.
Recipe for disaster.
A recipe for disaster.
So it sounds like for you went through these moments of actually seeing things firsthand for yourself. So you had these moments leading up to really coming out
Smash
on
the
stage
like and subscribe button.
in Butler, Pennsylvania with President Trump.
You just can't have a country like this. I supported Obama. I gave the maximum donation to Obama. I actually had a pretty good relationship when Biden was elected out. I guess most moderates that I knew, they thought it would be like a milquetoast version of Obama. And then it's like, we get the most radical left, crazy administration ever. With and Biden is actually non-compos mentis. President Autopen, basically. Biden was President Autopen. Whoever controlled the Autopen, the teleprompter during the Biden administration, was the real president. If a reasonable person who's open-minded was exposed to the same information that I was exposed to, they would end up at the same place that I ended up.
You grew up in South Africa. You lived during a period of apartheid. I'm sure you've seen a lot of horrific things. So to be called a Nazi by people, to be made out to be this monster, that must be really hard for you.
It's a relentless propaganda campaign, which obviously President Trump has experienced for a very long time, 20 years, maybe longer. And politics is a blood sport. So they're going to come up with whatever attacks they can to destroy the public perception of someone. Now, obviously, I've not harmed anyone in my life. They've also called President Trump a Nazi, but he also is not a violent person, and in fact has done a lot to prevent wars and stop wars. which is the very opposite of being a Nazi, actually.
Right. Ironic how that works out.
Yes, but it is disappointing how well propaganda works.
Yeah.
If you repeat a lie, the sort of he's a Nazi lie enough times, some people actually believe it. Especially people that still believe the legacy news. But they really are trying every angle to get me. They are doing character assassination.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
It shows that if what we were doing at DOGE was not effective, they wouldn't care. But it is effective, and that's why they're trying every angle to put pressure on me and DOGE to stop fixing the government.
Talk about your relationship with President Trump. You came to D.C. People immediately said, oh wait, Elon Musk is in charge of things here. Very clearly, President Trump is.
I do consider the president a friend. I think he considers me a friend, and we get along very well. I think, probably if you asked us both the same set of questions in two different rooms, 80% of the time we'd come up with the same answer. Which is not to say that we always agree, but we almost always agree. Getting rid of waste and fraud in the government and ensuring the rule of law is followed. We've seen just crazy things like the 20 million dead people in the Social Security database marked as alive, many of whom were receiving benefits. One person was 360 years old.
Wow, older than the country.
I think that would be a bit of a red flag, They're older than America. We found people receiving unemployment insurance with a birth date in the future. We found at the Small Business Administration that they're giving out loans to people as young as 9 months. So we're stopping things like that. We've actually found there's a lot of people who are federal government employees, they're active employees who nonetheless applied for and have received unemployment insurance.
While they're federal employees?
Yes.
Wow.
And this appears to be at least 100,000 people.
Wow. We know that you're finding all of this, but you're actually also simultaneously running several companies. What else are you doing, and how are you doing it, and where are you doing it? Are you sleeping? Are you traveling all the time?
This is a very difficult, that's why I made that sort of, I'm wearing many hats joke. The cabinet was given the Gulf of America hat, I believe it was. So you see all the hats there, and then I happen to have a DOGE hat. Like, you know what? I'll put a hat on a hat and prove to people that I'm wearing more than.
You really are.
I am wearing more than one hat. Even my hat has a hat, so it requires intense effort for, like I said, for about 3 months, which we're kind of at the 3-month point now, and then I can taper my time allocation, but still get things done. So. And I've talked this over with the president, so this is no surprise.
If anyone knows
smash the like and subscribe button.
Absolutely.
For an African American hero, Elon Musk.
I also still have my little office my cute little office in the West Wing, by the way. It's like comically small. People have taken photos of it and stuff. But I wanted it to be tiny, and even this office I use, but it's also used for meetings and stuff. So I try not to, use up a lot of space. In fact, I usually don't even have at my companies. I don't even have an office. I just walk around, talk to people, and have meetings.
That's how you know what's going on.
Yes, that's how you know what's going on.
Now, very famously, there was a story about you when you first came to D.C. that you slept on a couch in your office. This is where the richest man in the world slept.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Why did you do that?
Well, I didn't really have a good place to stay at the time.
How long did you do that?
For off and on for a few weeks.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's there are worse places to sleep.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our...
That man is built differently. That's why he's the richest.
President Trump's supporters are. Tom Homan. Tom, thank you very much for being here today. When I look back at those videos, and you remember what that was like with these planes landing all the time and people coming in and nobody really knowing who they were or where they were headed. Explain to us your hopes for this program.
Hit the like and subscribe button, guys.
And if you look at what the Biden administration did, they give a free airline ticket to the city of their choice. When they got arrested by the Border Patrol, they picked what city they wanted to go to. Free hotel room, $500 a night. 3 meals a day, free medical care, and work authorization. So
What's the truth behind Abrego Garcia's due process? Check out my video.
reversing it and sending people home. But the president's right on the cost savings. I mean, rather than, you know, especially in sanctuary cities where there used to be one agent can arrest one bad guy in a county jail, now we got to send a whole team for officer safety reasons to look for these people out in the public. But I think this is ideal for like the 1.4 million illegal aliens who've been ordered deported but became fugitives, and open up other opportunities. It's going to be extreme cost savings, first of all, for the right people. And I think it's going to help remove those that want to come back under legal programs. For instance, if you're not deported but you have a U.S. citizen child here, well, someday that child can petition for you. But if we have to formally deport you, that puts mandatory bars against you. Even if you, in other opportunities, you can come back on a student visa, visitor's visa, and come back the right way. But if we have to formally go through the process of seeking you out and deporting you formally, you get all these bars. They shut off all these future programs. So it'll be an immense cost savings. I think you're looking at like a 75% cost savings. But the criminals, we still have to go find the criminals. Criminals aren't going to take advantage of this program, but we got to keep looking at the criminals. This is about the other population.
But what's your sense, because this CBP reverse has been already in effect, and now the plane thing is a new part of it, but what's your sense of how many people are actually taking advantage of this program, Tom?
Last I looked, I think we're at about 7,000 have taken advantage of it, but it's now being pushed out in multimedia settings, especially in the Spanish language, getting the message out that, look, you can leave on your own. We can work with you and get you leave, or we'll come find you and we'll remove you based on our schedule and our standards. So the more we message this, I think the more that will leave. But again, when it comes to criminals, we're still rather prioritize the criminals, getting them. But this program also relieves resources to focus more on the criminals. So I think it makes sense from both sides.
So we watched in Wisconsin as this judge helped someone to help them get out of the courthouse because she heard that ICE was in the courthouse, even though she was about to conduct a trial of this individual who was accused of assault, and the people who accused him of it were sitting in the front row. So the Wisconsin governor, Tony Evers, is not happy about this, and he named you in this. Watch this.
Tom Homan was asked about me and this guidance after he apparently threatened to arrest elected officials across the country. He said, wait till you see what's coming. As disgusted as I am about the continued actions of the Trump administration, I'm not afraid. I've never once been discouraged from doing the right thing, and I will not start today.
What's your response to that, Tom?
You sound pretty scared to me.
What I simply said is, wait, what happens? I've said from day one, you can support sanctuary cities. You cannot support ICE if that's what you choose to do. But if you cross that line on impeding our law enforcement efforts or knowingly harboring and concealing an illegal alien from ICE, those are felonies, and we will seek prosecution. So, you know, hopefully you don't cross that line, but it's not a threat. I've been saying since day one. There are laws on the books against impediment and knowing harboring and concealing an alien, and we're going to seek those out that do that. I've arrested U.S. citizens for harboring and concealing aliens in their workplace or their home when I was an agent. Why should be a free for all for elected officials? So don't cross that line. I said from day one. We showed the judge. The judge want to play that game. We're prosecuting her. So anybody can be prosecuted for violating laws, including him. But it's not a threat. I'm just taking what the law is and what our intent is going to be.
Yeah. Tom Homan, thank you. Borders are always good to see you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
Damn right.
We begin with this Fox News alert. Elon Musk and his team members looked back at all they have accomplished over the first 100 days of President Trump's second term. It's been a big week. Time to look at DOGE. They sat down with Fox for an interview that pulled back the curtain on what American tax dollars actually have been paying for. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. Senior advisor to the president, Elon Musk, is scaling back his schedule now with the Department of Government Efficiency. However, he says DOGE is crucial.
Is DOGE just getting started? This is a long-term enterprise.
it's a long-term enterprise because if we take our eye off the ball, the waste and fraud will come roaring back.
They can doge when Democrats get back in power.
We're trying to have it be such that the funding is removed, so the grants are gone. So there's a lot of work required to restart the waste and fraud.
The DOGE team detailed a few eye-popping examples of waste and abuse that they have uncovered.
They found that money was being used to rent out Caesar's Palace for parties, rent out stadiums, etc.
They get $50 million a year, congressional money, to give grants. These are things like, alpaca farming in Peru. We actually went into the agency and found that they had loaded guns inside of their headquarters, spending money on things like private jets. And they even had a $130,000 contract with a former member of the Taliban.
Those examples, and many, many, many more, add up to a big number. DOGE claims it already has saved an estimated $160 billion. That's nearly $1,000 for every U.S. taxpayer. And the job is far from over.
Go check out the video, The Truth Behind Abrego Garcia's Due Process.
Like just how much money was going out the door, Rich.
Yeah, and this is a time, Harris, where Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency are touting and defending their work in the first 100 days of the Trump administration. The Department of Government Efficiency has cut a number of government employees, contracts, workers, even entire departments, and tens of billions of dollars of what staffers have called wasteful spending.
Unfortunately, by the 100th time you've heard it, it's hard not to get a little numb. Yeah. And by the 200th time, you're like, well, okay, it's just another day at the office.
We checked, is the Small Business Administration giving loans to dead people over the age of 120? The answer was yes, and it was around $330 million in total.
DOGE is also highlighting eliminating funding for improving the marketability of peas in Guatemala. Musk says finding out where federal money ends up is a complicated task.
Exactly. Contractors, subcontractors, like peeling an onion. And then maybe, and sometimes it's zero. Just flat, you get to the bottom of the onion, there's nothing there.
Musk had originally targeted $2 trillion in savings. Now he established DOGE. He says he's going to spend more time at Tesla, where sales and company stock prices are down. His special government employee status is scheduled to end May 30th. Musk's opponents accused DOGE of overinflating savings and cutting vital government services, medical research, and aid. Spending is actually up this year, and that Musk has failed to deliver significant savings from a bloated Pentagon budget.
We heard from Elon Musk that $20 to $30 billion just disappeared in the Pentagon. We heard from Elon Musk that cost plus contracting is a gravy train. We heard from Elon Musk that he was going to cut the defense budget. And what happened? We're adding $150 billion to the defense budget.
The latest Fox News poll says 39% of registered voters approve of DOGE, 56% do not. Several federal judges have reversed some of these DOGE cuts as these cases are continuing to work their way through the federal court system. Harris?
Rich, thank you. Mary Catherine Ham, Fox News contributor, is with me now to give me her first reaction to all of this. A lot of information. I mean, just the thought of Democrats one day coming and trying to flip the switch, as Jesse was talking about, is actually pretty frightening.
Anyone that wants to debate me, join the Discord. Link in bio.
That he's working with do these sit-downs. I think they should do more of them, because part of this is an education program for the American taxpayer about just how bad things are inside the federal government. Every single part of every single budget is bloated. And I would note for the congressman who was saying defense is not cut, defense spending is actually in the Constitution, so that's a helpful point in its favor. The rest of this stuff, going to Caesar's Palace on taxpayer dime, or giving money to your friends' nonprofits that maybe don't even exist and are basically shell companies, those are disrespectful to American taxpayers. And there is an argument that I understand that it's like, we're not really dealing with spending, we're not really dealing with entitlements. I want to deal with those things. However, this is like JV level, entry level cutting. It's so ridiculous. It's so silly. It's so dispensable that we should dispense with it. And I love that they are going after these things, because tell it to American taxpayers who have never seen $10,000, $100,000 in one place. Tell them that $160 billion is chump change, right? It's not chump change. It's their money, and it is the duty of the government to spend it wisely and not take it from them and give it to other people for nonsense.
I love what you're saying. Had there been contemporaneous accountability, maybe none of this would be happening because the American people would not have put up with this had they known. Well, those on the left and Democratic lawmakers have been going after DOGE's waste-cutting efforts since day one. Here's a look.
Unelected shadow government is conducting a hostile takeover of the federal government.
This smash and grab by Elon Musk is gonna stop. This is the most corrupt bargain we've ever seen in American history.
Fox's own Jason Chaffetz, former Utah congressman, with his recent op-ed, Democrats have made a fatal error opposing DOGE. He argues they appear to be for the fraud and waste, and without a viable, reasonable, common sense alternative, their attacks fall on deaf ears and leave most to wonder, what do Democrats really stand for? Well, I think everybody's wondering that now. Right, Catherine?
Yeah, well, let me get this straight. It's a hostile takeover by the duly elected president who put a special government employee, of which Biden had plenty, in charge of the United States Digital Service, which they renamed DOGE, but was an Obama-era creation to get, wait for it, smart technologists to come in from the private sector to add efficiency and knowledge to government, which is what they're doing. So they make up this idea that this is illegitimate in some way, but they've done that the entire time, the entire Trump era, right? It's not illegitimate. It's put in under this very specific system, and they are doing things that honor the taxpayers' dollars instead of disregarding them. And by the way, when you want to talk about like whether there is fraud going on, let's talk about just a tiny part of COVID spending. The biggest COVID fraud in the United States happened in Minnesota under Tim Walz's leadership. It was $250 million stolen from a children's food program. Okay, this stuff happens all the time, and it should be punished, and people should be held accountable for it.
Well, there are eyes on it now. It kind of makes you wonder, Mary Catherine, how Democrats are picking what they'll get behind. This is another example of that. There are now more horrific abuse accusations coming out about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He is the illegal immigrant and alleged MS-13 gang member who President Trump deported to El Salvador in March. Despite this, some Democrats are still standing behind him. Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen, who visited Garcia in prison. Remember that? That was like a big photo op. Well, now he says this.
In his first 100 days, Donald Trump is shredding the Constitution of the United States. He's violated these rights in many instances, including the illegal abduction and deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Okay, let's just stack up the facts before we go on. Audio from 2020 was obtained by USA Today. Abrego Garcia's wife pleaded with a judge for protection from her own husband. A warning, the audio is difficult for some younger viewers especially to hear. Watch and listen.
He grabbed me from my hair and then he slapped me. I have pictures of the evidence, like all the bruises, because even on Wednesday, he hit me like around like 3 in the morning. He would just wake up and like hit me. He slapped me 3 times. And then last week I did call the police. My sister called the police because he hit me in front of my sister.
His wife responded to the audio with a statement. My husband was traumatized from the time he spent in ICE detention, and we were in the throes of COVID. Like many couples, we were caring for our children with barely enough to get by.
That's no excuse to beat a woman. She's just trying to raise money for her campaign.
We reached out to lawmakers that went to, or who went to El Salvador for their reaction to the audio. No responses on that yet. However, Van Hollen's team referred us back to the press conference from yesterday. Highway Patrol also released this 2022 body cam footage of an encounter with Abrego Garcia. Watch this.
How are you? Good, and you? All right. And dessert? You got a bunch of people here, don't you? It's one for seat, yes. Go back to work. I never seen a Suburban with 4 rows of seats. You know what you got here, right? He's hauling these people for money. They don't have any luggage in there, right? And if you get them out, they're going to have toothpaste and they're going to have toothbrushes in their pockets, I guarantee you. He's got $1,400 cash in his pocket and an envelope.
Troopers ultimately cited Abrego Garcia for driving with an expired license and let him go. The FBI later ordered that case to be dropped. Look, Mary Catherine, there is a long history now with just this one man, and it seems to get longer every day. Again, this is an issue again. Democrats jumped in early to defend him. Your thoughts?
Yes. Well, yes, when you look at this, the question becomes, for whom do Democrats wish to stand? And for whom do they put all their energy into standing and fighting, right? And the answer is, Abrego Garcia became the poster child for them. And it probably was a strategic error. Here, I will say this, the administration says it messed up by sending him to El Salvador versus another country. They should rectify that mistake and deport him elsewhere because he is imminently deportable, as illustrated by the fact that it is not in dispute that he was here illegally for 11 years, and that he has all these things on his record, including being adjudicated by an immigration judge at one point as MS-13. Like, American voters look at these guys and they go, there's Americans captive all over the world who you're not saying anything about, including Idan Alexander, who's still in Gaza. They say nothing about these folks. They send the message that they care more about illegal immigrants in the process due to them than they do to Americans in the system and the process due to them. By the way, the victims sitting in the Wisconsin court when the Milwaukee judge decided to escort their alleged attacker out of the courtroom, fighting for him, not for the Americans who had been victimized by him. This is the message that they continue to send. Not that they're standing up for process, but that they're standing up for these folks.
Look, Abrego Garcia went to El Salvador for our country. He was on a final deportation order. They sent him to his home country. And I don't know if you'll remember this, but he fought going there because he said a rival gang would come after him. Yes. Yet Dems are still trying to chase the narrative that he was never even considered to be in a gang. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. They'll have to deport him here, then deport him away to a different country. But he doesn't belong in the United States either way.
I agree.
All right.
I agree. And that's been fairly obvious from the day one.
Thank you so very much. Good to have you in focus.
Thank you.
We're getting an exclusive look inside the first 100 days of DOGE. Jesse Waters sat down with Elon Musk and his team of engineers to discuss everything they've uncovered so far. And it turns out they say millions of taxpayer dollars have gone to dead people.
Is the Small Business Administration giving loans to dead people over the age of 120? The answer was yes, and it was around $330 million in total.
So people with a birthday that cannot possibly be real.
Yeah.
Meaning they're over 100, they're 115 years old or older. The oldest living American is 114. So it's safe to say if anybody is in the system as 115 years or older, that is fake.
So just by sharing a database and looking at Social Security numbers that showed that at the time of the loan, they had listed as over 115 years old, or actually under 11. We didn't even check for under 18.
Babies and dead
under 11 years old. That's pretty clear.
Babies
right?
and dead people who are getting loans.
And it gets worse. They say government officials were partying on your dime.
There was a $4 billion COVID fund in the Department of Education, and there was no receipts required, so people could just draw down on it. And when people looked into it, this wasn't us, this was before us, they found that money was being used to rent out Caesar's Palace for parties, rent out stadiums, etc. And so the one change that DOGE made with the Department of Education is we had the simple requirement that if you draw down money, you must first upload a receipt. That was the only change that was made. You must upload your receipt. And upon doing so,
yes,
nobody drew down any money anymore.
Yes, but we didn't say that we'd check the receipt. You could send a fake receipt. You could send a picture of your dog. Anything. And as soon as we asked for anything at all, suddenly the requests were like, oh, we don't need it anymore. Oh, that's interesting.
They were renting Caesar's Palace.
Yes, they were like basically partying on the taxpayer money.
Stadiums.
Yes.
Leasing stadiums.
Leasing stadiums.
For what?
For parties, basically.
For parties.
Yes.
That's a big party.
Tommy, I love Jesse's reaction. Renting stadiums for parties. This blows my mind. This isn't transgender rats on treadmills. This is Caesar's Palace. What I love is that now that there's a little tiny bit of accountability, all of a sudden nobody wants to upload any receipt. So the Democrat narrative on this, again, has been wrong. But it's been, oh, well, it wasn't $2 trillion, so who cares?
Well, when you look at the egregious spending, if we're able to cut out the egregious stuff and it adds up to whatever it ended up being, 150 million billion, that's a great savings. And most people are happy to see it, right? So the fact that Democrats poo-poo this, it reminds me of Nancy Pelosi talking about the tax cuts as just crumbs. It means something to the American people that we're not renting out stadiums for certain government employees to have a fun time.
You know, Sandra, I want to play this moment. This is about deleting records. And you think, government, you have to keep your records. Certainly shouldn't be deleting accounting information, but Elon Musk and the team found this. Listen.
Just a few hours after we got into their headquarters, we found that their chief accountant had actually deleted over a terabyte of accounting records from several years. So you'd have to ask the question, well, why would somebody do that? And the DOGE team, fortunately, was able to recover that data with the help of a few great employees at the Institute of Peace. And I think the most troubling thing was they received $55 million a year from Congress, and any money that went unspent, instead of returning that to Congress, they would sweep it into a private bank account, which had no congressional oversight. And that's what they would use to fund things like events at their headquarters and the private jets.
You almost feel like you're watching a very entertaining sitcom, but this is real life. And I think Jesse Waters was enjoying himself very much.
Yes.
I mean, what an incredible revelation, and what an eye-opening look at this. And to have a seat at the table and to have a camera in the room just continues to speak to the transparency that this administration is providing. It wasn't just Caesar's Palace and the big party. It was private jets. Congressionally approved funds were used for $130,000 contract with a former member of the Taliban they dug up. That's all been recommended to the Justice Department. So Elon Musk talked about on his sort of long goodbye here that this is a long-term enterprise, and they've got to stay at this because things can easily fall back into old ways. But, we've talked a lot about the resistance to this. A lot of these agencies are so happy with the change and was archaic. I think Elon Musk said it's prehistoric, like dinosaurs would think this is kind of old. Talking about the archaic filing systems at the federal employees retirement system. So there is a lot of welcome change that is happening as well.
Jesse had a lot of fun there too. Yeah. He found a young man who goes by the name of Big Balls.
Oh boy.
This cracks me up because
Big balls.
It's big.
That should be obvious. Why do they call you Big Balls?
I just said it as my LinkedIn username.
Okay.
Well, people on LinkedIn take themselves like super seriously, and they're pretty adverse to risk. And I was like, well, I want to be neither of those things. So I said it, and honestly, I didn't even think anyone would notice.
The only man on the couch.
I didn't have analyzing big balls on my bingo card. But here we are.
Here we are.
I'll be real quick. More of this from the DOGE team. Not just Elon Musk, but the whole team. Because when he leaves, you see that they are in very capable hands. 3/4 of Americans agree with the
Hit the like and subscribe button, guys. Smash the subscribe button. Check out my recent video about Abrego Garcia.
The mission will continue.
Emily with the cleanup at that.
Remember how the left painted these engineers as inexperienced children, inexperienced engineers, right? We saw there, without notes, as they articulated the phenomenal impact that they've had from memory, and also things like, the person from the Institute of Peace that helped stop that 1 terabyte of flooding. I mean, the reality is that tiny changes and a stop to the culture of blatant thievery has made an indelible impact. But the work is not yet over. It requires the continuing of the baton. And by the way, I assure you guys, when I was a federal attorney, I